Parents have a lot to worry about these days when it comes to the safety of their kids. Now, one more thing to add to the list. Batteries. Our consumer correspondent Susan Koeppen is here with the story. Good morning.
Good morning, Harry. There's growing concern over these very little popular batteries known as button batteries. They're in lots of products in our homes, and experts say they're injuring children at an alarming rate.
When 13-month-old Caden Vasquez became seriously ill, his mother Amy rushed him to the emergency room.
They did all sorts of tests, sent him home, told me it was the stomach flu.
But after a week, Caden got even worse.
They finally got an x-ray and discovered that he had swallowed what they thought was a coin.
That coin turned out to be a lithium button battery, which came from a remote control in the family's home. And it wasn't just stuck in Caden's throat. It burned a hole through his esophagus.
I never imagined he could have swallowed a button battery. Never imagined the extent of damage that it did to him.
Caden was in the hospital for weeks and needed a feeding tube for months.
It was devastating because I knew that we could lose him at any minute.
Hi, this is Amanda with the Poison Center.
According to the National Capital Poison Center, 3,500 button battery ingestions are reported to U.S. poison centers every year. 9 deaths have been reported in the past 6 years. Last year alone, toddlers in Ohio and Colorado lost their lives after swallowing button batteries.
We're seeing more serious cases and more frequent serious cases.
Dr. Toby Litovitz is the director of the Poison Control Center in Washington, D.C. She says any button battery can cause a problem, but the 20-millimeter battery, about the size of a penny or nickel, poses the greatest threat.
The battery gets stuck in the throat and a hole is created because the battery essentially burns through the esophagus or the throat.
We're talking about some really serious, devastating injuries that have long-term ramifications.
These are tragic cases. They are disasters, and they're very, very difficult to treat.
Button batteries of all sizes are found in common household products like thermometers, calculators, scales, and remote controls.
It's rather easy to get the battery out of this. You just pull it out and there's the battery. So any child could get a battery out of this remote device for a musical player.
Even musical greeting cards use button batteries. Litovitz says 62% of children who swallow batteries get them directly out of the product. Even dead batteries can be dangerous.
Dead batteries don't power the products, but they can still cause serious damage to the child.
A year and a half later, Caden Vasquez has fully recovered. But his mom says manufacturers need to do a better job of securing battery compartments.
I feel totally grateful that he had made it through this, but I do not want anybody else to suffer what we have suffered. It's devastating to a family.
And unless you actually see the child swallow the battery, it can be very difficult to diagnose. Symptoms mimic the flu: vomiting, fever, cough, lack of appetite. And this is something that needs to be treated very quickly. Doctors say you only have about 2 hours to get that battery out before it starts to burn.
Because the enzymes within your body start acting on the battery casing, and so all of this stuff, the bad stuff in the battery, starts coming out. What is being done to help sort of stop this sort of stuff?
Something that can be done is if you have a product where you actually need to use a tool like a screwdriver to get into the battery compartment.
You see that more and more these days.
Kids' toys usually have this. They have the screw in there. You have to actually, use the tool.
It's very difficult, yeah.
So the battery industry would like manufacturers to make it more difficult to get into the battery compartments.
Right.
But a lot of products like the scale that's right next to you, you can just lift that up right there.
Look at this. Yeah, see this pops right out.
It just pops right off. Now, you wouldn't think of a child playing with a scale, but you know what? It's down, it's on the ground, they're crawling around, they can get right in there.
There they are. Holy cow. And I think the most difficult thing, you go to the doctor is thinking it's flu.
And sometimes on an x-ray, it looks like it's a quarter.
Okay. Susan, thank you so much.